You've probably been looking for a walkthrough video of going over every detail in Facebook ads post Andromeda, and you still may not be able to find the answers that you've been looking for, whether you turn on certain AI settings or turn them off, whether you should run CVOs or ABOs. At the end of this video, my goal is for you to walk away and be super clear on exactly how to set up your campaign structure to generate the best results and what's worked for us in generating hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, and very profitably at that. And I'll show you some results here in just a second. So as you can see here, we have two separate campaigns, and you'll notice that there's one particular campaign that we've been focusing on. Now, pre or before Andromeda, one of the things that we did a lot is we'd run multiple campaigns. We've had multiple ad accounts since over the last several years, and so we've had ad accounts get shut down and whatnot. But I really want to focus in on this month so far on our main campaign. We currently have a retargeting campaign as well that we're testing to see, is retargeting really even a thing, or do we just lump it all together into one campaign as well? But if you have a look here, we can see under the analytics here, we have currently a 5.43 ROAS at the moment on our campaign. We've generated $12,000 just this month from this campaign, 61 purchases, and you can see that we've spent $2,250. And so we've just kind of put everything into one campaign, because we used to set up different campaigns where we'd have different targeting objectives or different top of funnel ads or bottom of funnel ads, or just different campaign structures based on different segments of the market or different types of customers, or we do different targeting. And what we've noticed, the more and more we try to force Facebook to do something different, it stands clear that the number one most important thing here in campaign structure is your creative, and that being able to be set in place for Meta to decide where that creative is going to be shown to your customers or potential customers. Okay, so let's go into the campaign here. So we essentially have two main ad sets live right now, and these are two different ad concepts, if that makes sense. So the ad concepts that we have in here right now are being tested, and these, not tested, they're performing very, very well. You can see that one of them is at a 6.64 ROAS with 5,500 in generated revenue, another one at 6,700 with a 4.72 in revenue. And so inside of here, we actually have two separate ads, and they're the same concept, they're just different variants, but these are all on a particular topic, and you can see here they both are the same amount of purchases and pretty similar return on ad spend. And this one here, same thing. We've got the same concept of the video in the same campaign, one performing a little bit better than the other, and most of the spend going there. And so you might be asking, like, okay, well, this is cool how you've set this up, but like, when I go through and set up a campaign, what do I even select? So if you're an e-commerce brand and you've been looking to figure out what is the strategy, what is the approach, what do I need to be focusing on, what's best practice, maybe your results haven't been exactly where you want them to be, well, let me walk through with you and show you a few things that I've been testing and we've tried and hasn't gone well and has gone well. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up a campaign. I'll kind of show you what we usually do for our campaign setup here. So on the campaign level, there's not really a whole lot that I like to touch, but the Advantage Plus catalog is something that I would consider turning off or on. Just depends on the current situation of your brand. This is basically how you advertise your shop products on Instagram and Facebook. And what I've found is that sometimes it can be distracting from the overall ad, and it can take away from the potential customer actually purchasing, because sometimes you see there's categories or product cards or catalog cards that just don't align with the actual advertising or the product that's being promoted. So I like to pull that away and turn that off. Now, if you have a good shop and it's organized well, it's categorized well, it's all been optimized correctly, then you can keep this on, but oftentimes it gets a little messy, and you can see that on the ad level, how that's actually organized and how it would show. That can be something you can test, but I would recommend just turning this catalog off, because we want to get people to the website. Now, the budget, usually we're setting a campaign budget. Previously, or even the last few years, it's changed a lot from the ad set budget. We're running a lot more ad sets at a certain spend, to just being a CBO, allowing more control for the algorithm to be able to decide where the ad spend should go. Now, below that, there's a few different things that you may want to look at. Now, on your account, this may be at the campaign or ad set level, there's a dynamic creative option as well. On our account, we don't have it, but I'll show you what it basically would do at the ad level when we get to it. But the dynamic creative, you can turn this on. Recommend that we haven't turned on dynamic creative in a little while now. We focus more on a certain ad style or type called flexible. Flexible allows you to still do dynamic creative testing. So we'll show you what that is, but don't really do anything with the A/B testing. You can have your audience segment reporting. We actually don't have any defined audience here, which I have some accounts that do, some accounts that don't. I would say that, based on what we've seen, we've still gotten both good results on both types. But really, at this campaign level, there's not much you're doing. Campaign objective sales, same everything, right? Everything just kind of stays standard. Now, the ad set level, this is where we can schedule. This is where we can link our pixel. Again, purchase, conversion, pixel, really important. Now, at the budget, again, we don't schedule. We just kind of start them whenever we create the campaign. Some people have a lot of success scheduling the next day. We don't do that, and we've had a lot of success, as you can see. So we don't do anything here. And the audience level, we don't usually do anything here either. The only reason that we might do something here is, let's say we have a new account or it's fairly new and we haven't been able to really find the right audience yet. We might give it a suggestion, but only stick to one main suggestion. So I wouldn't go and put in a ton of different suggestions. I'd keep it very, very open and don't do a lot of, focused in on keywords. I would just focus on one big suggestion just to get some initial data. But then once you got that initial data and spend on the account, don't do any targeting after that. Okay. Generally speaking, it's always broad, fully open. Placements, advantage on. This is kind of standard. So we've got all this set up. Let Meta decide where they want to go. And then we can go to the ad side. So this is where you might see dynamic creative. You don't need to turn that on because in the ad side, you can see the flexible and where you can put you can actually put in some ad variation here in this one specific ad set. So want to go to flexible. This is the format that you want to have for your creatives. So you want to come here to create ad, flexible, manual upload. Okay. I want to add our media here. We're going to add videos. So this stage, this is the more critical part of how you actually advertise on the platform and have success, okay? There's a few things you want to do here. When you come up with a creative concept, the creative concept should have different hooks, right? But you still have the same main piece of content. So the same main storyline, the same main point you want to drive home in the video. So for example, one of ours is an update order, right? So it's actually showing a day, showing orders going out, being built, and then being shipped. But the other one is a specific feature on the controller that people like to order to help them fix a problem that they have with their controllers. And so they're two different concepts, but with a couple of different variations, okay? So for you, when you're uploading your ads, you want to have 2 to 3 different tests happening, but the last 15, 20, 30, 40 seconds is the same, but the first 3 to 5 seconds is slightly different. So you can actually see and test which hook is going to work better. And so you'd actually select those 3 videos right here in this campaign, and then you would go ahead and just click continue. And what it would do is it pull in those 3 videos that you're now going to be running inside of one ad set and also one creative. That's how we run the ads, okay? This is probably the most important part. And remember, and we'll talk about this in the next video, which if you want to watch that video and it's been uploaded, you can go ahead and click that or save it for later. But we're going to walk through actually how to go about making copy and ads that convert really well, because the goal here in this video is to show you how to set this up, but really the money and the gold is for you in actually how you go about making your creative, because your creative is the new targeting. It does the targeting for you. The copy is the thing that helps you to find the right people. And it's more so about that than it is more so about your campaign structure. Okay, because you can see here, it's very, very simple. There's nothing complex. There's nothing secret about doing this. And so by going through and doing this, this is hopefully helping you see that there's more to it than just your campaign structure. And so if that video is here, go ahead and watch how to make creative and make good copy above in this video. So now we're at this part, we have the media. Now we need to make our primary text, okay? So if we click edit, we can, crop and change anything that we need. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and add in some primary text. So I'm just going to do, not actually going to put it in here. Going to copy this in, right? And basically what we do here is we look for 2 primary text and 2 headlines. That's kind of what we're looking to test, all right? We keep the description completely open because we don't really need to do anything here. It's barely even shown on the ads, so we leave that. Now, advantage plus creative optimizations. Now, this is what I wanted to touch on here because this is the one thing that I always had questions about, and I'm sure you have questions about too. So we're going to go with the shop now. I'm going to go see possible enhancements, okay? So this can do a bunch of different things: adding music, showing products, adding overlays, visual touch-ups, expanding image, right? A lot of these can actually make your ad look really bad. So what I suggest is that this is turned off. The reason being is because you'll have videos that get cut off, or you have images that get cut off and it's halfway through the text. It's not quite there yet with being able to successfully run the AI enhancements, okay? So I would recommend always turning those off because it can do some weird things to your ads. And if you want to add any variation, you add it through the flexible way, right? With the flexible option, and you just upload the different ads that you want. Now you can see creative testing has actually come up in here, and this is the test. So this is probably the equivalent of what the dynamic creative is. Some accounts have this, some accounts still have the dynamic creative at the ad set level. You can set up a test of your creative, and you can say how many you want to test, at what budget, for how long. So this is kind of another way to test. And if you want to get a certain amount of spend to a creative that you want to see if it does well, you can set that here, okay? So that is how you do creative testing. So there's not really a whole lot more you can do outside of that. And again, if you're using the triple whale north beam, make sure you got your URL parameters in here to track the URL. And that's pretty much it. Like, this is really it when it comes to setting up your ads and your campaign structures here. And what I wanted to highlight here, if we come down to my iPad right here in front of me, is I kind of want to explain this concept here for you guys a little bit. So what we did here is we just set up a campaign, all right? Now, this campaign is a CBO, and we set it at $100 a day. So we have this like campaign here, and then what we have essentially is we have 2 ad sets. Okay, so I'm just going to say ad sets. And then within these ad sets, we basically have 2 different ad variations. So the ad variations then house the 2 ads. And this is the same thing for both campaigns. And this campaign has a 6.0 plus ROAS, or maybe it's 5. Okay. And so the way that you need to think about this campaign here is that you'll notice that these here are really what help the campaign to perform. The AI enhancements, the dynamic creative, all of the targeting. There's really nothing to be said about how you even do these things, the campaign, the ad sets, other than putting all your focus on the ad variations, because that's what's actually getting you the sales. That's what's going to drive the revenue for you. So how do you set up these ads and target different kinds of people, right? Because you're thinking, well, if I only have a certain amount of creatives, like let's say I have, 3 ad sets and I have 3 hook variations, I set up flexible, 3 different ads, 3 different hooks. And like, how do I know what kind of copy? How do I know what to target? Do I make a retargeting ad that says, hey, I saw that you've been checking out my website and you didn't end up purchasing? Or do I say, hey, I know that you have this problem with, stick drift, which is a common problem with these controllers, and you're looking to fix your stick drift so you don't have to buy a new controller every time, then we've got a solution for you. They're called TMR sticks, right? Or let's say that you have an ad that says something like, you've been searching everywhere online trying to find a controller that's best fit for you that you can personalize, and you haven't been able to find something. Well, we offer unlimited options, infinite possibilities, and you have the ability to customize from 30 to 40 different colors per piece, and you actually customize every single piece of your controller. You see how those creatives, those 3 examples I just gave, they're very different targeting in the awareness stages? Well, that's what you need to do, is you need to target different awareness stages. There's a terrible spelling there. And when you do this, it allows Meta to put the ads in front of the right people. And it will do this. It's intelligent enough to do this. And so all your focus and all your time in getting results through Meta needs to be put on your awareness stages and creating your copy and making your creative, because it's able to transcribe your videos. It's able to take the content from your actual ad creatives and then be able to put them in front of the right people. And so it's much more about ad creative than anything else. That's one thing you take away from here. So if this video has been helpful for you, there's going to be a next video that's going to teach you how to set up and create the ad copy and the creatives and how to think about this before you go ahead and launch the campaign. We're showing you everything here. But if you guys are interested in adding some more revenue to your bottom line, that's really, really easy. Go ahead down below in the description and install an app called TxtCart. We have built an app that allows you to target people who abandon cart and have AI conversation or AI powered conversations to follow up with them and close those deals. It takes 5 minutes or less to install. It's really, really simple, and it's generated us tens of thousands of dollars in extra revenue every single year. There's a 14-day free trial. You got nothing to lose, no credit card required, and $1,000 in free SMS credits. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.